light, dim the streets in moonlight bright. We dissect the cinematic art, real by real we pull apart.
Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm your host, Josh, and today we're diving into a film that truly surprised me in the best possible way. 2007's Persepolis. Now, I'll admit, when I first heard about this animated film, I wasn't sure it would resonate with me. But let me tell you, it completely blew me away. Directed by the incredibly talented Marjane Satrapi, Persepolis is a deeply personal and visually stunning adaptation of her own autobiographical graphic novel. The film tells the story of Marjane, a young girl growing up during the Islamic Revolution in Iran. Through her eyes, we experience the turmoil of a nation in flux, the heartbreak of separation, and the universal struggles of identity, rebellion, and resilience. What makes Persepolis stand out is its ability to take something so specific, one woman's coming-of-age story during a historically significant period, and making it feel completely universal. Whether you've lived through political upheaval or simply wrestled with finding your place in the world, there is something here for everyone. As a coming-of-age tale, Persepolis is a rare gem. It's part personal memoir, part historical genre, and part universal exploration of growing up. And it's remarkable is how seamlessly it navigates those layers. It offers a deeply personal perspective while capturing the larger socio-political backdrop of Iran during and after the revolution. And this blend of the personal and political sets it apart from so many other films in the genre. But there is another layer of significance here. Persepolis isn't just a coming-of-age story, it's also a powerful entry in women-directed cinema. Marjane Satrapi's voice as both writer and director is undeniably bold and authentic. At a time when women filmmakers were, and still are, fighting for recognition, she crafted a film that stands tall in its artistic and emotional resonance. Today, we're going to dive deep into what makes Persepolis so extraordinary. From its representation of identity and culture to its innovative narrative structure and striking visual style, this film offers so much to unpack. We'll also explore the unique way it uses animation to tell a deeply human story, and discuss its lasting impact on the coming-of-age genre and women's cinema. So whether you have seen Persepolis or you're hearing about it for the first time, stick around. This is one story I don't think you're going to want to miss. Marjane Satrapi's journey to creating Persepolis is as remarkable and deeply layered as the story she tells in the film. She was born in 1969 in Rasht, Iran. Satrapi grew up in a time of immense social and political upheaval. Her childhood coincided with the overthrow of the Shah, the rise of the Islamic Republic, and the subsequent Iran-Iraq War, a period marked by intense political repression and cultural transformation. This first-hand experience shaped her perspective, giving her a unique voice as a storyteller and artist. Satrapi's graphic novel, published in 2 volumes between 2000 and 2004, became a global sensation. Its unflinching honesty, poignant humor, and accessible yet powerful visual style struck a chord with readers across cultures. Through Persepolis, she offered the world a rare glimpse into the everyday life of Iranians during a time of extraordinary turmoil, breaking down stereotypes, humanizing a nation often misunderstood by Western audiences. The success of the graphic novel laid the foundation for its cinematic adaptation. When it came time to bring Persepolis to the screen, Satrapi faced a significant challenge: how to translate the intimate and deeply personal nature of her story into a medium that often demands spectacle. To maintain the authenticity and intimacy of her vision, she partnered with Vincent Perinaud, a fellow graphic artist and filmmaker. Together, they co-directed the film, ensuring that every frame stayed true to the spirit of the original work. The decision to animate the film was both a practical and an artistic one. Animation allowed Satrapi to remain faithful to the bold, monochromatic aesthetic of her graphic novel, which she used to symbolize the stark contrasts and dualities in her life: freedom versus oppression, tradition versus modernity, and personal identity versus societal expectations. The black and white visuals also heightened the emotional impact, stripping the story of unnecessary distractions and focusing our attention on the narrative and characters. The production of Persepolis came at a pivotal moment in global cinema. In the early 2000s, there was a growing appetite for stories from the Middle East, driven in part by post-9/11 geopolitical landscape. Yet, despite this interest, authentic voices from the region were still rare in mainstream Western media. Persepolis stood out as a groundbreaking work, not only for its subject matter, but also for the perspective it brought: a deeply personal, unapologetically Iranian, and uniquely female lens on a world few had seen up close. The film also arrived during a broader shift in the film industry toward more diverse and independent storytelling. The early 2000s saw a rise in women-driven projects, with filmmakers like Sofia Coppola and Lynn Ramsey and others pushing boundaries and challenging norms. Persepolis became a part of this wave, proving that stories helmed by women could be as impactful, universal, and artistically ambitious as those made by their male counterparts. Satrapi's vision for Persepolis was not just to recount her own life, but to bridge cultural divides and foster understanding. In interviews, she often emphasized that the story of Persepolis is not just about Iran. It's about humanity. It's about growing up, finding oneself, and surviving loss, no matter where or when those experiences take place. The film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2007, where it won the jury prize and received a standing ovation. It was hailed as a triumph of animated cinema, celebrated for its bold storytelling, its emotional depth, and its striking visuals. But beyond its critical acclaim, Persepolis resonated with audiences because of its authenticity, because it was a story about a young girl navigating a world that felt as confusing and contradictory as it was beautiful and full of potential. In this segment, we have explored the incredible journey of Marjane Satrapi and how her life, artistry, and vision culminated in the creation of Persepolis. Next, we'll dive into the film itself, unpacking its narrative, its characters, and the deeply human story at its heart. Persepolis is about a story about navigating the complexities of identity, family, and belonging under extraordinary circumstances. The film introduces us to Marjane as a spirited and curious young girl in Tehran, full of life and unafraid to ask questions. Her childhood is marked by the warmth of family and the sharp contrast of a country undergoing seismic political and social changes. Through her eyes, we experience the Iranian Revolution, the rise of the Islamic Republic, and the oppressive policies that follow. all of which shape her journey from innocence to self-awareness. Marjane's journey is deeply compelling because she is both extraordinary and relatable. She's a rebel at heart, a dreamer and seeker of truth, who refuses to conform, even when it might be safer to do so. Early in the film, we see her idolizing Western icons like Bruce Lee and Michael Jackson, reflecting her curiosity and yearning for a world beyond the confines of her environment. But as the political climate in Iran becomes increasingly repressive, her natural defiance and individuality put her at odds with the rules imposed by the regime. Her relationship with her family, especially her strong-willed grandmother, and her loving yet pragmatic parents are the emotional anchors of the story. Marjane's grandmother, voiced with warmth and wisdom, serves as a moral compass and a symbol of resilience. She teaches Marjane that the importance of staying true to herself, even in the face of adversity. Her parents, while protective, also are pragmatic, understanding that Marjane's best chance for freedom and growth lies beyond the borders of Iran. Their decision to send her to Vienna for her safety is a deeply painful moment, underscoring both their love for her and the harsh realities of life under an oppressive regime. Marjane's time abroad in Vienna represents another crucial chapter in her story. While it offers her the physical freedom she couldn't have in Iran, it comes at the cost of alienation and a profound sense of cultural displacement. She struggles to fit in, feeling like an outsider in a world that doesn't understand her experiences or the weight of her history. These scenes are some of the most poignant in the film, as they capture the universal challenge of finding one's identity in unfamiliar surroundings. At the same time, they highlight the unique difficulties faced by those who straddle multiple cultures, never feeling fully at home in either. One of the most striking aspects of Marjane's character, though, is her complexity. She is not presented as a flawless heroine, but as a fully realized individual who makes mistakes, wrestles with guilt, and grapples with her sense of self. She falls in love, experiences heartbreak, and at one point even finds herself homeless after a series of missteps. These moments of vulnerability make her journey all the more relatable and human. Persepolis doesn't shy away from showing her struggles, and in doing so, it paints an honest portrait of a young woman coming of age in a fractured world. What sets Persepolis apart from the typical coming-of-age films is its unfiltered honesty, particularly through a distinctly female lens. Marjane's story subverts genre tropes, offering a perspective that feels raw and genuine. The film explores her relationship with her body, her sexuality, and her identity as a woman in ways that are rarely depicted with such candor. For example, her anger and frustration at the double standards she faces as a woman in both Iran and Europe are woven seamlessly into the narrative, highlighting the intersection of personal and political struggles. The female perspective also enriches the depiction of her relationships, particularly with other women. Her grandmother's strength and wisdom, her mother's quiet resilience, and even her friendship with other girls in Vienna provide a nuanced view of the many ways women support, challenge, and influence one another. These connections add layers to Marjane's character and underscore the importance of solidarity and shared experience. Persepolis masterfully uses its visual storytelling to enhance the narrative and characterization. The animation, with its bold black and white palette, draws inspiration from Satrapi's graphic novel and serves as a powerful tool for conveying emotion and memory. For instance, the stark contrasts reflect the dualities in Marjane's life, Again, it's that freedom versus oppression, hope versus despair, and individuality versus conformity. The fluid transitions between scenes also mirror the way memories are experienced, non-linear, fragmented, and deeply personal. Ultimately, Persepolis succeeds in crafting a protagonist who is as flawed as she is inspiring. Marjane's courage, vulnerability, and relentless pursuit of truth make her one of the most compelling characters in modern cinema. Through her, the film offers a coming-of-age story that feels both intimately personal and universally resonant, which is a rare feat that few films achieve. Now, in the next segment, we'll dive deeper into the film's core themes and symbolism, exploring how Persepolis uses its unique artistic style to address issues of gender, identity, and cultural survival. So stick around. Persepolis is a profound exploration of identity, freedom, and the often painful cost of individuality. Marjane's story is both deeply personal and universally relatable, making her journey a mirror for the broader struggles of self-definition in a world that often demands that conformity. The film tackles these themes with a very striking nuance, using its narrative, visuals, and symbolism to craft a story that resonates on multiple levels. One of the film's central themes is the question of identity, how it's formed, how it evolves, and how it's influenced by external forces. Marjane's life is a constant balancing act between her Iranian roots and the Western ideals she encounters during her time abroad. This duality, central to her struggle for self-understanding. In Iran, she faces the constraints of an oppressive regime that dictates how she should behave, dress, and even think. Yet when she moves to Vienna, she experiences a different kind of alienation, feeling out of place in a society that doesn't understand or respect her heritage. This tension is beautifully captured in the film's visual style. The stark black and white animation reflects the contrast in Marjane's life, freedom versus oppression, tradition versus modernity, and individuality versus conformity. Again, it's these dualities. They're not just external conflicts. They exist within Marjane herself as she tries to reconcile the different parts of her identity. For instance, her love for Western music and culture clashes with the cultural and familial expectations rooted in her Iranian upbringing. This struggle is something many viewers, particularly those navigating multiple cultural identities, can deeply relate to. And then there's the veil as a motif. The veil emerges as one of the film's most potent symbols, representing the complex intersection of culture, religion, and gender-based identity. For Marjane, the veil is both a literal and metaphorical constraint. It is imposed upon her as a young girl during the Islamic Revolution, marking the beginning of a more repressive era in her life. Yet it also becomes a symbol of resistance, her refusal to conform to the ideology it represents in an act of rebellion. The film uses the veil to explore broader themes of control and autonomy, particularly in the context of women's lives. In one striking scene, Marjane and her friends are reprimanded for running in public because their movement makes their veils inappropriate. This moment highlights the absurd lengths to which the regime goes to police women's bodies, framing their existence as something to be controlled rather than celebrated. At the same time, the film avoids painting the veil with a single, reductive meaning. For some women, it's a symbol of faith and identity, and the film respects this complexity, showing that the issue lies not with the veil itself, but with its forced imposition. And amidst the bleakness of Marjane's circumstances, the film weaves in this recurring imagery of flowers and stars, symbols of hope and beauty that persist even in the darkest of times. Flowers often appear in moments of reflection or connection, serving as reminders of resilience and the possibility of growth despite hardship. For example, the flowers that Marjane's grandmother places in her bra to smell fresh are not just a humorous anecdote, but also a metaphor for finding grace and dignity even in oppressive conditions. Similarly, stars often punctuate moments of longing or introspection. When Marjane gazes at the sky, the stars symbolize the vastness of the world and the idea that hope and freedom, though distant, are always within sight. The imagery all ties into the broader theme of endurance, showing that even in the midst of turmoil, there are some elements of beauty and strength that can sustain the human spirit. Another major theme in Persepolis is the emotional landscape of adolescence, which the film captures with remarkable authenticity. Marjane's journey through adolescence is marked by alienation, defiance, and a deep yearning for belonging, all universal experiences that are amplified by her extraordinary circumstances. As a teenager in Iran, her defiance is political, expressed through small acts of rebellion, like wearing Western clothes or listening to punk music. In Vienna, her defiance becomes more personal, as she struggles to carve out a space for herself in a culture that feels foreign and dismissive of her identity. The film doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of adolescence, such as Marjane's moments of self-doubt and guilt. Her decision to falsely accuse someone of wrongdoing to deflect suspicion from herself is a deeply human moment, reflecting the moral complexities and survival instincts that come into play in times of extreme pressure. These moments make her journey feel raw and genuine, capturing the messy, non-linear path of growing up. Another of the film's greatest strengths is its seamless blend of personal and political struggles. Marjane's coming-of-age story unfolds against the backdrop of a nation in turmoil, with her personal experiences mirroring the larger societal conflicts around her. The film highlights how the personal is inherently political, particularly for women in repressive regimes. Marjane's choices, whether to speak out, to leave, or to return, are all shaped by the political realities of her time. The juxtaposition of personal and political struggles gives Persepolis its emotional weight. For instance, the moment when Marjane's parents decide to send her abroad for her safety is both a deeply personal act of love and a commentary on the broader sacrifices families make under oppressive regimes. Similarly, her return to Iran as an adult is not just a personal decision, but a political one, as she grapples with the guilt of leaving her country and the impossibility of fully reintegrating into a society that has changed so much. The film's visual style is a crucial part of its thematic depth. The stark contrasts of black and white not only reflect the dualities in Marjane's life, but they also serve to universalize her story, stripping away the specifics of time and place to focus on the emotional core. The animation is often minimalist, yet it conveys complex emotions with remarkable clarity. For example, the scenes depicting war and violence are stylized rather than graphic, allowing the horror to come through without overwhelming us. Recurring visual motifs, such as doors and windows, further enrich the narrative, Doors often symbolize transitions and choices, whether it's the door to Marjane's childhood home or the metaphorical doors that close as she becomes more alienated from her surroundings. Windows, on the other hand, often represent longing and separation, as Marjane gazes out at a world that feels just out of reach. What makes Persepolis so powerful, though, is its ability to convey universal themes through the lens of Marjane's specific experiences. Her story is deeply rooted in Iranian history and culture, yet the emotions she navigates, fear, love, anger, and hope, are universally human. This duality allows the film to resonate with audiences from all backgrounds, serving as both a window into a particular time and place and a mirror reflecting the shared struggles of growing up and finding one's place in the world. In the next segment, we'll explore how Persepolis was received by critics and audiences alike, and the impact it has had on the coming-of-age genre and women in filmmaking. Don't go anywhere. When Persepolis premiered at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival, it made an immediate impact, winning the prestigious jury prize. This recognition wasn't just a nod to the film's artistic brilliance, but also a statement about the growing importance of diverse and authentic storytelling in cinema. Critics were quick to praise Persepolis for its bold combination of deeply personal narrative and political commentary, as well as its distinctive black and white animation, which was hailed as both visually striking and emotionally resonant. The film received near universal acclaim for its artistry, emotional depth, and narrative complexity. Critics marveled at how Persepolis managed to tell such an intimate and relatable story while grappling with its weighty global issues like war, oppression, and exile. Marjane Satrapi's co-direction with Vincent Perronneau was particularly lauded for its faithfulness to the graphic novel's tone and style. Many reviewers highlighted how the stark, minimalist animation amplified the film's emotional core, allowing us to focus on characters and their experiences rather than being distracted by extraneous details. Publications like the New York Times and The Guardian described the film as a groundbreaking achievement in animated cinema, comparing its emotional resonance to live-action dramas. Roger Ebert, in particular, praised the film's ability to balance humor and heartbreak, noting that it reaches beyond political boundaries to touch the universal struggle of growing up and finding your place in the world. Despite its acclaim, Persepolis also faced significant pushback, particularly in countries where its political themes and critique of authoritarian regimes were seen as controversial. In Iran, the film was banned outright, with authorities citing its portrayal of the Islamic Revolution as a misrepresentation of the country's history and values. This censorship sparked debates about freedom of expression and the role of art in political discourse. The controversy extended beyond Iran. In 2011, the film was briefly banned in Tunisia following complaints that it was blasphemous. However, this move led to public outcry, with many Tunisians defending the film as a work of art that championed human rights and freedom. These incidents only underscored the power of the film to provoke thought and challenge authority, and solidifying its status as a symbol of resistance and the importance of speaking the truth to power. Over the years, Persepolis has transcended its initial success to become somewhat of a cult classic, beloved by audiences and studied in classrooms around the world. Its influence can be seen in both the coming-of-age genre and the broader field of animated storytelling. In the realm of coming-of-age films, Persepolis set a new standard for emotional honesty and cultural specificity. It demonstrated that stories rooted in personal experiences could resonate universally, paving the way for other filmmakers to explore their unique perspectives without compromise. By centering a young woman's voice and experiences, the film also helped broaden the scope of what coming-of-age stories could be, challenging the dominance of male-driven narratives in the genre. For animated cinema, Persepolis was a revelation. At a time when animation was often dismissed as a medium primarily for children's entertainment, the film proved that it could be used to tell mature, sophisticated stories with incredible depth and artistry. Its success inspired a wave of independent animated films, encouraging creators to experiment with unconventional styles and themes. Movies like 2008's Waltz with Bashir and 2017's The Breadwinner owe a debt to Persepolis for showing what animation can be, like a powerful tool for exploring political and historical realities. The success of Persepolis was particularly significant for women in the film industry. Marjane Satrapi's work as a director, a writer, an artist challenged stereotypes about women filmmakers, proving that they could tackle complex, politically charged narratives with authority and nuance. Her achievements helped open doors for other women to tell their stories, especially those from underrepresented cultures. In interviews, Satrapi has often spoken about the importance of using her platform to amplify marginalized voices. She has become a role model for aspiring filmmakers, particularly women and artists from the Middle East, who see her work as proof that their stories can find a global audience. The film's success at major festivals and its Academy Award nomination for Best Animated Feature in 2008 further cemented its status as a milestone in women-directed cinema. Today, Persepolis is more than just a film. It has become a cultural touchstone. Its themes of identity, resilience, and freedom remain as relevant as ever, especially in a world where political and social struggles continue to dominate headlines. The film is frequently included in discussions of the greatest animated films of all time, not only for its technical brilliance, but also for its emotional and intellectual depth. For audiences, Persepolis offers a deeply personal window into Iranian history, while also challenging them to reflect on our own identities and beliefs. It stands as a testament to the power of storytelling to bridge divides and foster empathy, reminding us that even in the face of oppression and adversity, the human spirit can endure and triumph. Now, in the next segment, we'll explore specific moments in Persepolis that highlight its artistic and emotional brilliance. But before we move on, it's worth pausing to appreciate the profound impact this film has had, not just on cinema, but on the way stories are told, shared, and valued across cultures. Stay tuned. Persepolis is a profound testament to the power of storytelling and its ability to connect people across time, place, and culture. It's rare to find a work of art that so seamlessly blends the intensely personal with the universal. Yet Persepolis achieves this with remarkable grace. Through the lens of Marjane's life, the film takes us on a journey that's deeply specific to her experiences as an Iranian woman, while simultaneously touching on emotions and struggles that resonate universally: the pain of growing up, the search for identity, and the longing for freedom and belonging. Another striking aspect of Persepolis is its ability to bridge cultural divides. For audiences unfamiliar with the history of Iran or the lived experience of its people, the film offers an intimate and humanizing perspective. It's not just a story about a country in turmoil. It's a story about a young girl navigating adolescence, family, and self-discovery amidst the backdrop of a shifting political landscape. This duality is what makes the film so powerful. It educates without ever feeling didactic, and it moves us without ever resorting to sentimentality. For me, Persepolis was a film that shattered my preconceived notions. I'll admit it, when I first approached it, I was not sure what to expect. Perhaps I underestimated the depth and nuance an animated film could convey, or maybe I doubted my ability to connect with a story so rooted in another culture. But from the moment the film began, I was captivated. Marjane's journey felt deeply personal, not because her life mirrored my own, but because her emotions, her fear, her defiance, and her longing were all so authentically portrayed. But I think what moved me most was the film's honesty. Marjane is not a flawless heroine. She's human. She makes mistakes, wrestles with self-doubt, and sometimes feels lost. This rawness made her story feel real and relatable, even as it unfolded against a backdrop of war and political oppression that I've never experienced. It reminded me that the core of storytelling lies in its ability to reveal our shared humanity, even when the specifics of our lives differ. The relevance of Persepolis today cannot be overstated. In a world that continues to grapple with issues of identity, oppression, and cultural misunderstanding, the film serves as both a mirror and a guide. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the ways in which societies impose restrictions on individuals, particularly women, and the toll this takes on the human spirit. Yet it also offers hope. Marjane's resilience and refusal to conform are a testament to the strengths of the human will and the enduring power of self-expression. Beyond its political and cultural messages, Persepolis speaks to the importance of empathy. It asks us to step into someone else's shoes, to see the world through the eyes of a young girl trying to make sense of an often senseless world. In doing so, it challenges us to broaden our perspectives and approach others with compassion. In an era where division and misunderstanding often dominate, this message feels more urgent than ever. Another aspect of Persepolis that resonates deeply is its role as a work of resistance. Marjane Satrapi created the film not just as a recounting of her own experiences, but as a means of giving voice to those who are often silenced. Through its artistry and authenticity, Persepolis asserts the right of individuals, especially women, to tell their stories on their own terms. This act of storytelling becomes a form of defiance, a way of reclaiming agency in a world that seeks to deny it. The film's unique animation style underscores this message. The stark black and white visuals are both a nod to Satrapi's graphic novel and a symbolic representation of the contrasts in her life, the freedom and oppression, the belonging and alienation, and the hope and despair. The visual language reinforces the film's themes, making its impact even more profound. Ultimately, what makes Persepolis so significant is its ability to transcend boundaries. Be they cultural, political, artistic, It's a reminder of why stories matter, why representation matters, and why it's so important to create spaces for diverse voices in cinema. For modern audiences, the film serves as both a reflection of ongoing struggle and a source of inspiration, urging us to remain resilient in the face of adversity. On a personal level, Persepolis left a lasting impression on me. It challenged me to examine my own assumptions, to empathize more deeply, and to appreciate the beauty and complexity of perspectives different from my own. That, I think, is the ultimate power of a great film. Its ability to change you, even in small but meaningful ways. And as we wrap up this segment, I want to leave you with this thought. Persepolis is a call to action. It asks us to listen to one another, to honor our shared humanity, and to stand firm in our convictions. Whether you're watching it for the first time or revisiting it years later, this is a film that stays with you, not just for its artistry, but for the truths it reveals about the world and ourselves. Now stay tuned as we move into the final part of this episode, where I'll reflect on the broader societal takeaways from Persepolis and preview what's next on Real Real Talk. As we start to wind down this episode of Real Real Talk, I find myself reflecting on just how deeply Persepolis resonated with me. Few films manage to capture the complexities of life with such raw honesty and artistic brilliance. This is a story that transcends borders and time. It challenges us to embrace the things that make us unique, while also reminding us of the shared humanity that binds us all. What struck me most about Persepolis was its unapologetic authenticity. This is a film that doesn't shy away from the messy, complicated realities of growing up, especially against the backdrop of political and cultural upheaval. It's about finding your voice even when the world seems determined to silence it. For me, it's a film that lingers, leaving me with a deeper appreciation for resilience, identity, and the power of storytelling. That's why I give Persepolis a near perfect 9.5 out of 10. It's not just a masterpiece of animated cinema, it's a film that I know I'll carry with me for years to come. Whether it's the poignant relationships, the striking visuals, or the universal themes, there's something in Persepolis for everyone to connect with. If you haven't seen it yet, I truly encourage you to experience it for yourself. Trust me, it's a journey worth taking. And by the way, if you're curious, the reason I took off half a point was just because I do think, even after everything I read and researched, that maybe color would have been an added aspect to this to really show us how different things are between Iran and Vienna, and Iran in the beginning versus Iran in the end. Just a small thing that left me wanting something a little bit more. Next time, though, we're switching gears in a big way. We're jumping back into the world of 90s nostalgia with what I consider a modern classic. That's the 1995 film Clueless. While it is a different kind of coming-of-age story, it's just as impactful in its own way. From its sharp humor to its iconic fashion moments, Clueless redefined what it meant to be young, privileged, and, well, totally buggin'. I can't wait to break it down with you all. Now, before we sign off, though, I want to hear from you. Have you watched Persepolis? Did it move you as much as it moved me? Let's keep the conversation going. Reach out on social media or drop me a message. I love hearing your thoughts and connecting with fellow film fans. Remember, we are on at Real Talk on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, at Real Talk Pod over on X whenever we show up, and the Real Talk at gmail.com if you would like to email us. But as always, thank you for tuning in to Real Talk. Your support and passion for cinema make this podcast such a joy to create. And don't forget to subscribe, share, leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. And remember, the beauty of film lies in its ability to open our minds, touch our hearts, and spark meaningful conversations. So until next time, keep watching, keep loving, and keep those reels rolling. Thank you.
Underneath the silver screen, gleam, talking reels and all their schemes. Dusty scenes and dreams unfold, stories told in shadows bold. Gritty plots and whispers tight, dim the streets in moonlight bright. We dissect the cinematic art, reel by reel we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway, reviewing tales both light and dark, classic films that leave a mark. Dive deep into celluloid night, critique the legends in our sight. Every frame a layer appeal, truth and intrigue are revealed. Fan the flames of black and white, the mystery dances in the night. Casablanca to the crime, in every score we find a rhyme. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and moonlight bright. With velvet world we pull apart, reel by reel we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway. With velvet worlds and starlit sway, reel by reel we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway, reviewing tales both light and dark, classic films that leave a